Imagine dust billowing in the wind, horses whinnying in the background, a pink sunset, and a tough drive. It would be easy to forget an important fact during a time when men made history for being brave, exploring, and always wanting to be the first to do something. The women of the Wild West were just as brave, driven, and persistent as any man. Among the notorious outlaws who roamed the untamed land was a woman who defied the odds and carved her own path in history. Laura Bullion. Laura Bullion wasn't just any outlaw. She was a member of the infamous Wild Bunch gang, riding alongside legends like Billy the Kid and Butch Cassidy. In a world where men dominated the outlaw culture, Laura stood out not only for the brave things she did, but also for the amazing way she mixed being girly and tough at the same time. She was a gambler, a train robber, and even worked as a prostitute. But above all, she was a woman who refused to be confined by society's expectations. But what about her life before the headlines? Born in 1876 in Texas, she was exposed to the rough and tumble life of the West from an early age. Her father was an outlaw, and it wasn't long before Laura followed in his footsteps. She joined the Wild Bunch gang in her early 20s, quickly proving her worth as a trusted accomplice. With her striking looks and cunning mind, she earned the nickname Della Rose among her fellow outlaws. As the years passed, Laura Bullion's legend grew. She was arrested in 1901 and served time in prison, but even incarceration couldn't diminish her spirit. Upon her release, she sought a quieter life, eventually settling in Memphis, Tennessee. She lived under various aliases, working as a seamstress and maintaining a low profile until her death in 1961. But if you thought Laura Bullion's tale of rebellion and resilience was captivating, wait until you hear the story of Josephine Sarah Marcus. Born in bustling New York City in 1861, filled with dreams and a yearning for adventure, the crowded streets and towering buildings of her hometown couldn't contain her spirit. As a teenager, Josephine left the familiarity of her home to explore the untamed and wild frontier of the American West. You probably heard of the legendary 1881 gunfight at the OK Corral in Tombstone, Arizona. This shootout, involving Wyatt Earp, the lover of Josephine, his brothers, and their friend Doc Holliday, against a group of outlaws, is one of the most iconic moments in Western legends. It was a mere 30 seconds of gunfire, but it cemented Wyatt Earp's legacy as a symbol of justice in the wild and lawless West. But what about Josephine? While Wyatt Earp's name became synonymous with frontier justice, Josephine's story is just as captivating. She wasn't just the wife of a famous cowboy. She was a pioneer woman who braved the challenges of the West with grace and courage. Her life alongside Wyatt was filled with adventure, love, and resilience. But Josephine's tale of love and resilience is only the beginning. Picture a dusty town in the Wild West, where the air buzzes with tales of outlaws and bandits. Among these legends stands a woman named Belle Starr, known to many as the Bandit Queen. You probably heard of Belle Starr's association with the notorious James Younger gang. These infamous outlaws were the rock stars of their time, and Belle was their charismatic companion. People wondered about her involvement in their criminal activities. Did she ride alongside them in daring heists, or was she simply drawn to their rebellious spirit? Some believed she never committed any crimes herself, but relished the thrill of being around the bad boys. In 1886, Belle's unconventional lifestyle led her to jail for horse theft. This brush with the law only added to her mystique. After serving her time, she returned to her wild ways, refusing to settle into a quiet, predictable life. In 1889, her story took a sad turn when she died mysteriously while riding a horse, leaving more questions than answers. But if you thought Belle Starr's story was wild, Wait until you hear about the crusader who marched into saloons with a mission. Picture a bustling saloon in the Wild West, filled with the clinking of glasses and the lively hum of conversation. Suddenly, the doors swing open, and in strides a woman with fire in her eyes and a hatchet in her hand. Her name? Carrie Nation, a name that would become synonymous with the fight for temperance and the abolition of alcohol in America. Think of Carrie Nation not as a typical outlaw, but as a revolutionary force. Born in 1846, Carrie spent her early years as a school teacher in Missouri. However, her life took a dramatic turn when she witnessed the devastating effects of alcohol on families and communities. Fueled by a fierce determination, she took up the cause of temperance with a zeal that would make her infamous. Carrie's targets were something different. She was after saloons because she thought they were the source of all the bad things in society. With a hatchet in one hand and a Bible in the other, Carrie marched into these establishments, smashing bottles and shouting, "Glory to God and down with saloons." Her methods were shocking, but her message was clear. The era of alcohol had to end. But that was not all. Meet Alice Ivers, who didn't set out to become one of the most successful female outlaws in history. However, fate had other plans. Losing her first husband, a minor, to a tragic accident, Alice found herself drawn to the poker tables where she had once watched him play. With each game, her skills grew, her reputation spread, and soon she was known far and wide as Poker Alice. What was it about her that made her so unforgettable? Was it her steely determination or her incredible poker-playing abilities? She wasn't just playing cards. She was breaking barriers, showing that a woman could hold her own in a man's world. Her savvy business sense saw her running saloons and brothels, making her a force to be reckoned with in the frontier's bustling towns. But if you thought Poker Alice was impressive, wait until you hear about Etta Place, the enigmatic outlaw who rode with the infamous Wild Bunch. In the late 1800s, the Wild West was a land of outlaws and lawmen, where the line between right and wrong was often blurred. It was a place where legends were born, and among these legends was Etta Place. She wasn't just any woman. She was an outlaw who rode with the infamous Wild Bunch, a gang known for their daring train and bank robberies. But who was Etta Place? This question remains one of the Wild West's greatest mysteries. Some say she was the romantic partner of Butch Cassidy, the charismatic leader of the Wild Bunch. Others believe she was linked to the Sundance Kid, another notorious member of the gang. Despite her enigmatic identity, one thing is clear: Etta Place was a force to be reckoned with. Did you like seeing all these old photos? Please subscribe to the channel because our camera roll is filled with these historical photos.